Okay, here we go. So I was texting a friend of mine, shout out to Tony Webster, and Tony mentioned to me in passing, oh Frano, you haven't uploaded a whole pile to YouTube in ages. And I was like, fuck, I nearly forgotten all about it. So I needed the reminder, so nice one, Tony. So I asked Tony, this is over a text message exchange, I said, cheers for the fucking reminder, Tony, I needed it. What would you like to hear me talk about? Thinking that, you know, he might go, oh, I've often thought you might talk about this thing. And then I'd go, oh, fuck yeah, that thing would be cool to talk about. But alas, he goes, no, nothing really. I just like the way you're all about self-improvement. And I myself, like he, Tony, isn't all about self-improvement. And he likes getting that window. He likes getting that window into how other people think and operate. As do I. And I thought to myself, I could fucking talk about that. And it's funny because when he said originally, when I read his message and he said, you know, you're all about self-improvement, my knee-jerk was, am I? Like, really? Am I the self-improvement guy? And then as soon as that thought came to mind, it was immediately followed by, well, yeah, a little bit. Like, you're always on about it. You're always fucking doing shit to kind of better yourself. And I suppose I just had never framed it in that sense. I never would have viewed myself as the self-improvement guy, even though, you know, there's an endless amount of self-improvement going on in my life. Which made me think, you know, what elements of self-improvement have you done more recently, Frano, Mr. Self-Improvement? And I thought, fuck, there's been quite a few bits. So a little over a month ago, 5 or 6 weeks thereabouts, I bought a rig, a calisthenics rig, like a pull-up bar and dip station thing, from past guest and friend of the show, Des Seepersad. And I fucking love it. I think it's class. So I started off, and there's a real beauty in doing something new. So I'd never done pull-ups or dips or any of that crack. I'd never been into calisthenics. I've done a handful of pull-ups, you know, over my entire life, but I never really got into it. And whenever you get into anything really, the real beauty is when you start something new that you've never done before, your progress curve is like fucking straight up. There's so much low-hanging fruit out there that we should all be taking way more advantage of. So many of us do something, let's say running. We want to get our 5k time down to whatever it is, down to 25 minutes, down to 20 minutes, down to 15 minutes. And we spend or expel massive amounts of energy to get that extra 1% better at what we do. And footballers are the same, swimmers are the same, fucking darts is the same. You spend a couple of years honing whatever craft it is that you're involved in. You get proficient at it, and then it's just an endless grind to make, you know, marginal improvements, because it's those marginal improvements that put you a cut above the rest. But there's so much low-lying fruit out there. Like, there's guys who are big into weightlifting, and they're all about their deadlift record and their bench press record, and they're adding grams to it, you know, every week or every other week to try and increase it as much as they can. They're all about that. But the same cunts couldn't string 5 pull-ups together. But if they put in half the effort of adding a pound to the bar into something that they've never done before, like pull-ups or planks or, I don't know, going for a fucking 1k run or anything, the amount of easy got gains, that there's so many easy got gains left on the table. And I, for one, like I'm relatively well-rounded. Now, the downside of being well-rounded is you're not particularly great at anything. So I'm not the best at anything that I do, but I'm all right at, you know, endless amounts of different things. So 5 or 6 weeks ago, got this pull-up bar. I'm on it once or twice a day, every day of the week. It's great. I started off, I needed an elastic band. They're called resistance bands, but ironically I use them for assistance. So I use a resistance band for assistance. And when I was using a big like it's like an elastic band basically, but a big massive one. This thing would hold your weight and then some. Using that massive elastic band, I was able to do 5 pull-ups. Then I reduced the strength of the band. I used another band, a much lighter band, and I was able to do 5 pull-ups with that. Then I went to doing 3 pull-ups with no band, and now I'm up to 6 really good form pull-ups with no band. And it's time to add a weighted vest. So I bought myself a weighted vest. I think it's 6 kilos, and then it comes with 4 1 kilo plates that you can put in and put out of it. So what I'm probably going to try and do is maybe put the 6 kilos on and maybe go back to using bands and get myself up to 5, and then use a lighter band and get myself up to 5, then use no band, get myself up to 3, no band, get myself up to 5, and then maybe I might be able to do 10 straight pull-ups with perfect form with no weighted vest. But again, there's real tangible benefits to doing these things, and it's nice to see the numbers go up. And the numbers could be the amount of kilometers you can run without stopping, the amount of lengths of the pool you can swim without stopping, how much fucking kilograms you can put on a bar for the different exercises, whatever it may be. It's nice having that tangible thing. Even with weight loss, it's nice to see the incremental improvements, the couple of pounds here and there. I weigh myself every day. I've been doing this for well over a year now, and I average out my weight every week, and it's nice to see it going down when I'm looking to lose body fat, and it's nice to see it going up when I'm looking to put on muscle mass. And it just keeps you honest. We used to have this saying when I trained as a mixed martial artist in Kokoro, when we'd be sparring, you might notice somebody, regardless of how new they were to it or how seasoned they were at it, you might notice them maybe dropping their left hand or their right hand on occasion, and you go, dude, just a heads up, you're dropping your left hand there. Oh yeah, cheers, Frano, yeah. And you might say it again, like, dude, you keep dropping that fucking left hand, like, you want to keep that up. Oh yeah, cheers, Frano. No change, bang, you fucking smack them one basically, and you should get a thank you for that, because it's in an effort, as the saying goes, to keep you honest. Tell them once, tell them twice, give them a good smack, and it'll fucking sink in a little bit quicker. But I digress. In the last month or so, I've been on the bars every day. That's been great. My diet has been more dialed in now than it's ever been. I'm on a mission. I've given myself the objective to get jacked for 40. So I turned 40 in, I think it's 23 weeks. The 25th of January 2024 will mark my 40th birthday, and I've given myself the goal to be jacked as fuck, basically. Ripped to bits and shredded and diced up and jacked as fuck. It's going to be a treat for myself. I've never been into aesthetics, physique aesthetics. All my training forever, I played hurling and football and rugby, a bit of soccer. I was a martial artist. I've run marathons, I've done a triathlon, I've done all these things, and a byproduct of that is that you look relatively well physically. You have a presence, and you don't sicken yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. But it was always functional training that I did. What I'm doing between now and the 25th of January is intentionally to look good, to look better. So I'm on a bit of a cut now at the minute. I want to get my body fat percentage right down, and I'm doing a lot of exercises on the bars to keep up my strength and maintain my muscle mass. My diet has been dialed in like a motherfucker. I am literally weighing everything that I eat. I'm working out and logging the calories and protein and water content for the day. I haven't gone into fats, sugars and fibre yet. I may or may not go do that deep a dive. I reckon if you maintain the right amount of calories, protein and water, you can't really go too far wrong. And I'm conscious of taking on too much because I have a habit of doing that. I say to myself, oh, do you know what? I'm going to monitor my diet. And I start fucking weighing everything that I eat and working it out to the fucking nth degree. And it gets a bit much. I take on more than I can fucking bite off, more than I can chew, basically. And it fizzles out after, a couple of weeks. So I'm limiting myself to, quote unquote, only weighing on my food and working out the calories and the protein and making sure I'm hitting my my daily amount of water. So that's on the kind of diet and fitness end. I'm also running the Galway City Marathon on the 7th of October. So I have a program on an app that has me running X amount of kilometers every other day, thereabouts. It has me doing high intensity interval training, which sucks, but in a really cool way. It feels like you're training, you're not just going out and doing endless miles. That's been up and down. I'm not overly happy with it, because when I look at what the app has me doing between now and the marathon, the longest run that it has me scheduled for is 77 minutes. Now, it's going to take me the best part of 4 hours to run the marathon, and to think that I'm only going to have one run, the longest run that I'm going to have is a 77-minute run, and then on race day I'm expected to run for close on 4 hours. Seems a bit shit. So it's updating itself as I progress through it, so I'll be keeping a close eye on it. Initially my plan was to just blindly follow the app and do exactly what it says when it says it. That was the original plan, and I would have been happy with that if there was a half marathon or 2 or 3 thrown in between now and D-Day running the marathon, but that hasn't happened yet, so we'll see. I would love to blindly follow the app, because any of the marathons that I've ran before, I never really did a training plan as such. I was used to running 10Ks here and there, so up the amount of them that I was running, threw in the occasional half marathon, and then maybe one 30K run a couple of weeks out to give myself the confidence that I can run the 42. So this time round it's a big change, actually following a plan. I've mixed feelings about it, because again, only running 77 minutes doesn't seem right. I'll monitor how it goes, and if it's not changing, I'll just go out and bang out a half marathon and a 30K one off my own bat and kind of take it from there. It's nice following a plan. It'd be a lot nicer if I had more faith in said plan, but look, such is life. So exercise wise, I'm on the bars once or twice a day. I'm running about 4 or 5 times a week. I got into bouldering nearly a year ago now at this stage, in November I think of last year, November of 2022. So I try and go bouldering twice a week. It's rock climbing essentially without any ropes. I'm not a big fan of ropes. It's a lot of gear and stuff, and with bouldering you slap on your climbing shoes, a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, and you're fucking good to go basically. You bring a bit of chalk for your fingers because they tend to get sweaty when you're clinging onto the wall for fucking dear life. That's been cool. That's a workout in itself. So physically, kind of, exercise wise and diet wise, I'm fairly on the ball. Work wise, things are going good. We're building a new grow room. We've made massive strides there. We have it built, we just have to wire it now. You wouldn't believe the amount of work that goes into it. I'm not loving work these days. So one of the lads that I've working with me, shout out to Quailon Ward. Quailon is starting a new job the first week of September. He's actually starting a job at one of my biggest customers, Keelings. So fuck you, Keelings, for stealing one of my best workers. But Quailon's heading off, and we were chatting about it the other day, and I asked him how was he feeling about it, and he said he's excited, like it's a new chapter. And I was instantly hit with a bit of jealousy. I was like, fuck, a new chapter, that'd be nice, that'd be lovely. Like if somebody offered me £1 million to buy my business, I'd sell it and I'd be delighted to get £1 million out of it. But what I'd be nearly more delighted with would be the next chapter element of it. Do you know, I've done this, I've been doing it for 8 years. A lot done, a lot more to do, but I don't know if my enthusiasm is waning because I've been doing it for so long or what. I don't know, I have to do a bit of fucking mental excavation on my motivation towards my own business, because it pains me to admit it, but my motivation towards it has been I don't know, waning a little. And I think I could do with, it's funny, I could probably do with a scare. I could probably do with a big massive scare, half of my customers to fucking just drop me, and for me to have to go out and fight and get more customers. I've become a bit complacent. And in keeping with the whole self-improvement theme to this episode, complacency is certainly not my happy place. And I think there's something to that. This is great, and this is what's coming out of the wash in this episode. I love when this happens. I start talking about something, and then something essentially comes out of the wash. And I'm wondering, is that what the self-improvement brigade have in common? It's not that they're all about getting better and improving themselves. Is it more so that they just have a disdain for complacency? And I must ask my mate Tony, who himself self-identified as a person who's not a self-improvement person. I wonder how he would feel with the label of being a complacency person. I don't know how he'd feel about that, because I think a self-improvement person, there's positive connotations to that. A complacency person, there's negative connotations to that. Like, being complacent is, like, if you said about somebody, oh yeah, he's very complacent, like, that's not really a compliment. Like, being complacent is almost the opposite of a go-getter. A go-getter being, a fundamentally good thing. So that's interesting. That'll give me something to think about now. Is it my disdain of becoming complacent, or is it, because complacency and boredom to me are kind of synonyms, and I think that might be an element of what has my enthusiasm for my business wane a little. I'm a bit bored. We've been doing the fucking same shit for years, and at the start it was very exciting. Now, it was also very stressful. I don't have nearly as much stress now as I used to. Like, I'm stressing more about being complacent about the business than I am about stressing about the business itself, because it's running like a fucking well-oiled machine, and it's on the cusp of expanding, but it's hard to drive on an expansion when your motivation is waning a little. So there's definitely something there that requires a bit of self-examination, a bit of mental digging, a bit of mental rooting around. So in closing, nice one, Tony. You've given me something to think about. You've given me an episode to upload. Glad to be back. If you're glad to see me back, hit me up with a comment of what you might want to talk about. And on that note, I'll chat to you soon.